Wait, a cutscene? It must be my birthday!
How long
Oh,
has it
look
been
at
since
that!
the
It's
last
the Dragon Titan.
Yes.
They're actually dragging him like that. Damn.
Boy.
Oh, look guys, it's Sega shackling this franchise!
Boy.
No, I won't submit.
Oh wait, I'm very sure that dragon would be very
Anyway,
pissed if
time
we
for a
released
boss
him.
fight against a Dino Crisis dinosaur. The Fiend's pet, the Megabrax.
Who owns Dino Crisis?
Capcom. It was Shu Takumi's baby, actually, believe it or not.
And
Before
it's
Ace Attorney.
a giant. Yeah, it is a giant dinosaur. And yes, it's an actual boss fight that you have to do.
Oh, it looks awesome. I want to ride it instead.
Yeah,
if
Winter's
only.
gonna try and kill us, so it's...
Ugh. God. Well, and that was the end of the cutscene. I hope you
Hey.
enjoyed
Oh,
it.
here we go. A Megabrax, but they're extinct. As death and resurrected one from beyond time, it matters not. I shall snatch her hand and hair and make her mine. And yes, she's not joking. Tyris is gonna tame this bitch.
How do you know it's a she, Tyris?
She management. The missing link between Dragon and Abrax, yeah, basically flavor text about the. It's called the Meg. There you go. Here's the gimmick.
Sweet.
You can tame the Meg, but much like the dinosaur you tame in Conqueror's Bad Fur Day, she needs constant feeding. Thankful, otherwise she will go frenzy and actually, force you down from her, and you'll need to do that again. Thankfully, the game showers you with enemies just ready to be consumed.
Nice. So it's essentially you playing as a T-Rex, since I'm guessing this is the
With a
main...
scorpion tail, Jova. How awesome is that?
Pretty flipping awesome.
It's just the problem when thanks to the bad sound design, it just fucks up with the roaring a lot of times.
You know what? For this point, though, that wouldn't bother. That would not be able to bother me enough. Like,
Also, you also need to strategize a bit because some type of enemies do not actually refill the gauge effectively, but instead actually hurt it. Like it's like demon meat or something. So you also need to decide what to just kill on your own and what instead let the Meg to eat.
still, though, this is actually interesting lore and all. So there's a link between the Abrax and the dragon. It makes sense, you know, dinosaurs were perceived as dragons back in the day, so...
And they turn out to be birds, like, the chicken leg that the Abrax is supposed to be.
And now with the revelation that a lot of dinosaurs may have had feathers, good gravy. But yeah, all the same though, it makes sense, and hey, again, this thing looks flipping cool.
Again, in general, as a set piece, because that's pretty much what it is, this is actually kind of nice. I just wish that the game kind of had a bit more of these.
I really, really do think
Oh,
that
and by
this...
the way, as you can see, you can also eat other steeds. Yes, this is actually the one case where it can happen. You can intimidate them and then just cure them for eating them like that.
Wow.
It is cool.
You really are a motherfucking team.
The apex predator.
Well, I guess the only thing higher up on the food chain is an actual dragon.
Go on, Jova.
But yeah, I really just feel like this game could have been good if they had just had the proper time and hadn't lost a lot of that footage, because stuff like this really does make me think that there is a good game here to be had.
Buried way deep beneath this.
Seriously, right down to the Tyrannosaurus Rex war being practically an attack of its own? That's awesome.
Oh shit, looks
Oh,
like I
no.
got... To
Please.
be fair, again, it's surprisingly compared to the others, to other beasts,
Wait.
it's actually really easy to mount on it again. And the cool thing is that the enemies cannot mount it, and it's technically immortal for these sequences. So it does actually provide you a bit of levity compared to the other beasts.
God, that would have so sucked if we had to kill a beast this awesome if a mook took over her.
Yes, Pedro?
Question, Taylor, how long until the next plot point?
Oh, I think around 4 minutes, oddly.
Oh, in 4 minutes for now, you mean?
Yeah.
This is
Okay,
essentially
I'll be
where
right
the
back,
story...
Uh,
Okay. But yeah, no, this is awesome. Like, I could go on and on about how awesome this beast is. Like,
The music is not accompanying it well enough, though. I wish we got something similar to the Godzilla March, because, you know, that's an instant classic.
or like the Tyrannosaurus theme in Super Mario Odyssey.
I prefer the Godzilla medley. Sorry.
Well, then again, there's Ground Battle from Transformers Fall of Cybertron, which would be...
I'll take your word for that, Joe. I don't know it.
Basically, it's Grimlock's battle theme, and it is glorious.
Oh, Grimlock, if I recall correctly, is the T-Rex Predacon?
No, Dinobots.
Okay.
Predacons are something different.
Again, I still have the as in my country call it, scholastic memory of Robots in Disguise anime, and in that one, the Predacons are the animal bots.
Hell, isn't Megatron a Predacon in that one?
Yes, because it can assume the form of a dragon, and when it evolves into Galvatron, it actually performs like a steel mammoth form, which is he himself tells is invincible.
And then he got beaten.
Yeah, well, he gets beaten. It's a bit weird. I do remember distinctly the last episode where Optimus, at that point, Optimus had like mastered a fusion between him and I think it was like his brother. I forgot his name, which was like colored, I think, white and blue. And the final episode has that fusion of the two confronting Galvatron inside of an active volcano. And it literally ends with the fusion of Optimus using a move called like Space Hellbeard, and then it cuts to the aftermath where they just say that they won.
When you say final episode, do you mean of the actual Robots in Disguise series or the end of the trilogy involving Robots in Disguise?
The anime series, Jova.
'Cause-
At least how it was broadcasted here. I don't know if there's a missing episode or not.
Because if I recall correctly, the last episode of Robots in Disguise takes place inside of Unicron.
It might be. Keep in mind that it's been way more than 10 years since I saw that. So
Reminder also that it's a part of a trilogy of series, you know, known as the Unicron trilogy. It was essentially known as the Transformers anime series, since it was predominantly made in Japan and whatnot. The first series was 2D animation. The last two, I believe, were 3D
that's
CGI.
the first series, then, basically.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Yes.
Again, you can the game decides to spawn in different types of beasts that you can actually eat in different ways. So again, it's just there for a bit of the power trip move, kind of like they did with a couple of pieces before, like giving you the amulet that gives you immunity. It's just that this is a much better case because there is a degree of challenge and it is a time more satisfying with something new.
Mm-hmm. You
There
know,
we go.
regarding the Unicron trilogy, I think the most interesting thing about that is how they handle Starscream of all characters.
Alright,
What Transformers Armada from
unfortunately,
that?
Joe, but we kind of need
It
to leave
was.
these poor beasts behind.
Armada was like, actually watched Armada when I was young.
I think Armada was the first
Oh,
series.
come on, I thought we were developing something here.
Oh boy.
Yes, a taste for you.
Yeep.
Betrayal.
And that's it, we just leave it behind, we don't even kill it.
So it's just stuck there forever.
So much
Kinda.
for taming her, Tyris.
And there we go, now we get, we do get another boss fight, this time against, well, we will see in a second, in order to free the Dragon Titan from the
Ooh.
clutches of Death Adder.
Let me guess, we're gonna get to ride the dragon, aren't we?
Well, you'll see, Jova. Let me just say, don't get your hopes too high.
Anyway, Dibs, to answer your question, yeah, Transformers Armada was part of the Unicron trilogy. In fact, I think that may have been the first one, since I think that was the
It
one
was
in
the
2D.
first piece of Transformers media I've had.
Ah, interesting start here and there. But yeah, Starscream is interesting in the Unicron trilogy. He actually does not start off as a backstabbing guy. He's actually more like a warrior who joined the Decepticons for a righteous cause, but has become disillusioned with them over time, to the point where he actually does sacrifice himself to help the Autobots save the day in the end of Armada. Then it gets a bit weird in the other series. He sort of comes back, but not right per se. Then
I can tell you for sorry, go on.
Then Megatron kind of brainwashes him here and there, and let's just say, because of all these shenanigans, Starscream eventually becomes more power-hungry and conniving, like the Starscream we all know and love, to the point where he becomes sort of the big bad in, I think, the third series.
I can tell you, Jova, that if I recall correctly, in the Robots in Disguise anime that I saw, Starscream is not present at all.
Yeah,
Instead, he is mostly replaced by Scourge, which is the leader of the Decepticon. There you go.
Oh, yeah. If that's the second series, that would make sense, because I think at that time Megatron was out of commission due to what happened in Armada with Unicron and whatnot.
I think so. Basically, there was this moment where the Transformers did found like the essence of some other Autobots inside. The Predacons tried to take them to their advantage, so we took them to a military base and infused them with Megatron's energy, part of Megatron energy into it. But for the last one, Optimus Prime had to intervene because it was like an oil truck that was about to actually, burst and explode. So part of his own essence fused, and it created Scourge, which kind of acts as a rival, complete with a black paint on it.
And now Transformers is part of the same group that also owns Power Rangers.
But yeah, actually, I actually didn't know. The series that I watched only had 39 episodes. It's not even that long. I thought it was much longer. Weird.
I guess, when you don't have the illusion of shows randomly showing up on your network.
And remember, Jova, two things. Like I said, we had the container program. Like I mentioned, this was one of the shows presented into them. And two, it was still around the time where my country was presenting shows in a schizophrenic manner, so we will get something like episode 2, then episode 15, then episode 20, then episode 7, and stuff like that.
Imagine if the Star Wars shows came out.
Thankfully, no, it was only mostly applied to TV series then instead of movies. But the other thing that I remember at the end of it is that at least the Decepticons get trapped into the equivalent of a Phantom Zone after Galvatron is defeated. It was weird.
Hello.
Alright, time for a rematch because there you go, the dragon god Titan is still imprisoned, and we need to fight another firstborn and another secondborn at the same time.
Oh boy, they survived.
Well, these are the two types of giants.
Be sure they're not the exact same, guys.
They could be. I mean, I don't really think there's much of a difference here. Now, here's the thing. One thing that I didn't get at first. The towers where you normally knock these two guys into are not elite. What you need to do is to defeat these cultists that are actually imprisoning the dragon. There we go. So that this way, the dragon will actually spew its fire and actually lit up the towers. Now you can actually start dealing some damage.
Huh.
The problem is that this is still a boss fight where it's 2 against 1 and it's not in your favor. There are some places where you can take cover, but they don't really work all the time. So when the secondborn starts using his leg attack that actually creates tornadoes, it's kind of a problem.
Oh boy. So I guess you have to think outside the box for this one.
Pretty much.
I mean, not a bad idea for a boss fight, I guess.
It's also recycled, Joe. At this point,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to fight these two clowns again. Sure, why not?
I can't help but wonder if the Queen of the Dead might have been a better penultimate boss fight.
Yeah, I have to agree. She was actually much more interesting and had a more varied boss fight. There we go. There is a healing platform there, but if you go there, when you exit, they will activate some spikes, and you won't be able to heal again for the rest of the fight. So choose wisely when to actually, decide to heal yourself.
I guess kudos to the game designers who give a way to not just cheese.
Yeah,
for a
literally
boss
throwing
fight.
you a bone. Because everything's filled with bones.
Lovely bones.
Not really. Ow.
Well, I guess if I can give her one thing, Tyris' outfit looks pretty great here. This her final outfit?
Again, I honestly like the general, the general looks that they've been given to her. Like Pedro said, sure, it's way too different from, her classic design, but I do believe it still does the job. After all, this is a reboot, and also she is truly allowed to have this kind of different design. I'm not against that. There we go.
The only weird thing is that, of course, it's all done without context.
Pretty much. It's just there. I mean, it's easy to assume, again, that the Axirian in this actual universe instead have, more affinity with fire and the dragon. So it's not too far-fetched to assume that she will actually look themed like that, hot red.
Time to start doing some damage.
There we go.
Oh, hey, you can damage them even when they're not staggered. Well,
the problem is that at some point, the statues will stop actually being lit again, and you will need to destroy the cultists again where they are. So again, it's another layer of tediousness that the game has. There we go, like this.
The devil. So is it timed or is it scripted to happen after you've dealt enough damage?
It's timed. So basically, you need to actually get down there and do some damage, as much as you can. And yes, you get the cutscene every time, but you can skip it afterward. Oh shit. The camera. It doesn't help with the frame rate shift. It goes from 20 to 60 in such a whiplash manner. Imagine the poor kids and teenagers. Well, okay, this was like rated PEGI 18, I think, so not really teenagers. But imagine the poor people who actually paid $60 for this when it came out.
Yeah.
Like how sad must it have been? At least it was also tedious, but at least the Iron Man video game was more bearable, I have to say.
All right, what did I miss?
Now unfortunately we had to drop the Meg. We didn't kill it, but we had to actually leave it behind. And now we're fighting again the firstborn and the secondborn at the same time to free the Dragon God Titan.
Is that it?
What?
Is that it?
Pretty much.
Ah, okay. I didn't really miss much then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay then. Gee, why am I not surprised?
The fight is still tedious, but it's just... the good thing is we'll actually get one of the more decent cutscenes at the end of the fight. It's just that, we kind of had to get there.
Like I said, the Megabrax is definitely the best mount so far in the game.
Why couldn't we fight these two while being on the Megabrax?
Because it would have made it too easy, let alone fun. We can't have too much fun, I'm afraid.
Oh well.
But yeah, like I said...
No fun allowed.
Like I said, this game literally feels like it could have been a good game if they had the proper time. Like
Again, Java, buried.
Yes, buried alive.
Jesus.
But remember, it wasn't just that they didn't have a whole lot of time, it's that they lost.
Again,
Yeah,
developers' incompetence. So that's what I keep saying. The fact that Sega could not even put the whole, let's change developers after all, because we literally had wasted too much time on developers that was thinking it was, thinking a bit too big for its britches. So, yeah. Oh, there you go. They actually died this time around.
I'm not quite sure it's so much that the developers were too big for their own britches. It's more like, well, okay.
Remember, Jova, it was an ambitious project. We were thinking about, being more open areas that were more open with multiplayers, and judging by the performance, they wanted all of this to run at smooth 60 frames per second.
Okay, yeah, but 60 frames per second may have been pushing it. I mean, I will say this, I do feel like a lot of the stuff was feasible if they hadn't, run into that trouble here and there. I think the real issue, though, was trying to divide time between this and developing the Iron Man game.
I guess. I can remind Jova that happened kinda at the near near the end of the development cycle, so the impact was only minimal. There was still the fact that they presented at least 2 times at this point playable beats at the Sega offices. You know, both times developers themselves were like, I don't think we're ready to present this thing, but both times Sega still were perfectly okay with what they've been shown to them. Like, only the 3rd time they started having some doubts, but at that point they had invested way too much money and time, so they decided to just keep going instead of actually having it be cancelled, because otherwise it wouldn't be too much of a loss.
Perhaps it is a mix of all that stuff. Maybe it's a bit of overambition, biting off more than they can chew, and a lot of bad luck. I wonder, though, I mean, I guess to be fair, when it comes to the footage, that is mainly story stuff, so not necessarily affecting the level design and whatnot.
There we go, almost there, thank God.
They didn't lose any of the coding for some of the beasts, did they?
No, I think that should be it for all of them. At least from what I know. Again, I'm only basing on what I've seen in Madman Muscle. There's not much news about this game, unfortunately. It was made in a time where news were still scarce.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't remember seeing this on the magazines that I was actually reading at the time.
Okay.
Alright. Are we done? Alright, let's listen to what the dragon has to say. By the way, I have no idea who voices the dragon. It's not credited properly, so...
Let's have a listen.
I pledge you my service, great lord of the skies.
You have done well, daughter of Axir. But the golden axe is not yet whole. I hold within my...
Sounds a bit like Peter Cullen, actually.
He does.
He's not credited, in case you're wondering, Jova, so it can't be him.
Well, maybe he went uncredited.
You cannot ask this of me. I have lived my life.
But yeah, the dragon is actually asking Tyris to kill him to retrieve the final piece of a golden axe.
You are an excellent
Wow.
warrior.
That's depressing.
Again, this is actually one of the best moments of the game, because it actually shows a bit of characterization from Tyris and her having to take a difficult decisions. Again, we're just at the promise of we're literally at the end of the game.
We're doing all this to beat Death Adder, who, if I recall correctly, we have not met yet, even
Nope,
in this
we're
game.
about to, but we haven't met it yet. Again, even the music is actually more fitting. It's just that, again, it's a glimpse of what the game could have been.
Yeah, I think she sounded what played the dragon, and the dragon got stabbed.
And there we go, with this the golden axe is finally completed.
Alright.
Here's the good news. You don't have to do this, use this just as a pro weapon. You can actually equip the thing. And it's an insta-kill against all of the Adder's forces. They can get near you without exploding. You will see in a second.
Okay.
So basically the game showers you with one last power trip before the final boss.
So basically, we've gotten both
Oh no,
the
wait,
best...
there you go. They kept it death equals Adder joke.
Okay, that's cute.
I still don't understand that's the meaning of that.
Death Adder. Not even the deepest pits of hell will hide you from my wrath.
Ooh, she mad. So, we've gotten both the best mount and the best weapon in this part.
It even crackles like that.
Okay, that is flipping awesome.
You'll see in a second what it can do. It also has a very long range, as you can see. Alright, here we go. Boom!
Whoa! Snap!
Again, they can't even get near you without exploding. Again, if we actually, the problem is that this is a very short trip. Afterward, you will immediately find the Death Adder at the end of this corridor, and that will be actually a more proper standard boss fight. So
I guess it makes sense since he's the final boss. Okay, can you go back and replay levels with this weapon?
No,
Damn.
not that I know at least. Yes, I have no idea who voices that feather, and his design is very generic, at least for this form. He has a green armor and everything, instead of being red.
What?
Yeah, that's Pedro. That's supposed to be that feather.
No, that is not that feather. No.
All right,
Hashtag not my death equals feather.
here's
I
how
was gonna say that.
here's how the boss fight works. The golden axe really does damage to this guy, but for the first part, you just need to, keep dodging and everything.
Oh my god, the music. Sorry, go ahead and finish too.
But he has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. Go on.
The music is so generic. Allow me. Dun 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 dun. No. Put up the Death Adder theme, you freaking hacks!
Jesus. Also, he has a couple of also poison attacks like that. Then, after you, I forgot it happens after you deplete enough of his health bar, he will do, let's just say that he will do an homage to the original game. I think he's about to. No, actually. I actually don't know when it actually happens. Like, maybe you actually deplete it halfway through. Also, yes, the Golden Axe also allows you to regenerate health on your own. It really is a nifty tool for everything.
Nice.
Ow. The timing of the pairing is still iffy though. Keep in mind also that this was all blind, so again, at first I was like, oh cool, like I'm actually dealing damage to this guy.
Well, they advertise this weapon is awesome, it better be.
It's in the fucking title, so...
Oh, again, I'll give this game credit. Finally, the heroes get to be the one wielding the flipping golden axe.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. But nope, he now actually steals it for himself. So we need to actually get it back.
Ah, okay, that's a neat little homage to how he often wields the
Now,
golden axe in his boss
I
fights.
don't really remember what you're supposed to do here. But if I recall correctly, like you need to bait him into like crashing into a wall and then, oh, there you go. Now you actually, I think, yeah, there you go. You actually need to drop him one of there we go. And then I think you need to stab him. Oh, I don't remember. Again, it's been way too long, and this fight has this weird gimmick going on with it. Also, I'm in a corner. I'm not sure the epic battle was supposed to take place there.
No, Death Adder. The epic battle is not supposed to happen there. I love how he gets sucked.
Oh, there we go. You get to impale him there. I think that's how you're supposed to just deplete him his health bar.
So it would seem.
Again, it's been a while, so please forgive me.
A relatively fine final boss. At the end of an incredibly crap journey.
Pretty much. It's just that the game just, again, near the end, the game gives you this glimpse of what it could have been. How awesome it could have been, but it's too late. Literally too late.
Yeah.
There we go. So, is that right? Wrong. Because we're about to actually get to the twist of the game of sorts.
I am your father.
The feather was actually one of the titans, the snake one, which basically means that he has killed all of the others to gain power for himself. Again, it's a cute mythology gag, considering that it was supposed to be just a pile of snakes in the original, but it's just that, considering the game has been lackluster so far, it's just there as a twist.
It's nice, I guess. So, how's this
Titan
boss
4, there we
fight?
go. Yeah, the boss fight is actually much better. It doesn't steal anymore the golden axes, so the good news is that you can keep it for your own. And it's actually way easier than the first one, to be honest. The timing is much more forgiving for the attacks. And if I recall correctly, at some point he tries to hide in one of the holes of the arena and you're supposed to actually bait him outside. And again, the golden axe does deal enough damage.
I mean, it's weird. Stuff like this does show that somebody must have been doing research on the franchise, so They must have known how to pay homage properly to it. And yet the
It's
sad,
almost over, Pedro, don't worry.
and yet the sad thing is that in terms of being a reboot, this game still at least knows to respect the franchise, unlike the DMC reboot did.
I'm not. No, sorry, Jova. This is not respecting the franchise
Okay,
in any way, shape, or form.
here's the thing. Hold
okay.
on, Lips, let me get it. Here's the thing, Jova. It works on two different ways. This is just mediocre, boring, and there's the fact that even by the fact that it's a reboot, some of the designs do not match what they want to do, and it just gets lost in all the fact that this was a mess in development. The DMC reboot has instead the thing that it probably instead knows what the franchise is and actively tries to go against it for the sake of, making it a selling point
That's
for
pretty
itself.
much. That's pretty much my point. Oh, also,
Those are two different things altogether.
Okay, that's the thing, Jova. Okay, so congratulations.
Hold on, Lips, hold on.
Fun to play from the looks of it.
well, yeah, okay. DMC is more fun to play. What I'm saying is like, well, this game is less intentionally insulting. As in, this game seems to get a better idea of actually trying to pay homage to its franchise. Oh, now, don't get me wrong.
I'm
It's
trying.
yes.
This is them trying. I hate to see what phoning it in looks like.
Well, as me and Tio have pointed
Again, remember
out.
they lost half the footage.
Well,
Which technically means they did try, we just don't know in what capacity.
pretty much. Yeah. I mean, look, like me and Tio said, it's still a bad game, but I can see that there was effort put into this. It's just a lot of crap stuff happened. Whereas, yes, DMC the reboot is definitely a more stable game. But by God, can it be more enraging as a reboot? Because, like Tio said, that is a reboot that knows what it's doing and is so goddamn terrible about it. Like,
Besides,
I will give
DMC 5 came out after that. What gold Max had since
Yeah,
this?
that is also a thing. Also, I will give Grips credit where it's due. For DMC Java, you can also play it as an arcade experience and just skip all the cutscenes. Here, even the gameplay component is not, entertaining or compelling enough for you to try doing that.
Now, let me make it clear, even though some people may have misunderstood. I am not saying that this is a better game than DMC the reboot. What I'm saying is that, as a reboot, this is a less enraging experience than DMC if I pay mind to all the elements here and there. Because
Yeah, I
DMC is just insulting, I'm sorry. Like, many
That
people
being
have pointed
said-
out why it is the case. Anyway, Tio, I wanted to point out something. Were you actually riding him in Titan form?
Temporarily, when you deplete enough of the L-bar of depth equals either Titan form, he will actually be stunned and you will be able to basically do the bullfight move or conduct him into one of those rocks that can actually damage on contact, basically. So they incorporated a bit of a taming mechanic into it, so it's cool enough.
You were saying, Pedro?
That being said, Jova, just because this game does not intend to go out of its way to insult the fan, that doesn't change the fact that I still, as a fan, feel insulted by this game. Hell is filled with good intentions.
Oh,
And
yeah,
this is-
definitely.
And they go out of their way to turn that matter into a fucking lizard. Tyris doesn't look like Tyris. Like the overall art style is not even reminiscent. Well, okay, it tries in some ways, but it goes overboard with the dark and gritty shit. The music doesn't sound anything like Golden Axe. Like it's just Axe Battler doesn't look anything like Axe Battler. This game, as far as I'm concerned, is a complete failure as a Golden Axe game. This is a generic action game that they attach the Golden Axe name onto it for nostalgia.
I mean,
value.
it was the franchise killer after all. We really
And,
haven't seen anything afterward.
And hang on, I'm trying to remember exactly. Was this game
wait,
meant
hold
to
on,
be a
hold on.
reboot or a sequel?
Reboot.
Yeah, reboot.
Actually, we're getting extra CG cutscene for this. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Tune your neck, please. I can't hear what you're saying.
Perhaps, monster,
Yay!
but not this day.
5 out of
man.
10. Okay, the capitation is fine. It's just that the one-liner should have been better.
Also, Joe, but there's another advantage DMC has over this.
Well, yeah, that's the
I can
thing.
actually understand what the characters are saying.
That's
Brilliant.
it.
And with this, since Deathfather was the last of the Titans, the Golden Axe loses its power.
Is it connected to him or something?
It was an artifact of the gods, meaning that
Tyris flare.
God's new golden axe?
Maybe it had the essence in it.
You have done well. Had the Death Adder killed me, my essence would have been devoured, and even the power of the Golden Axe would have been useless.
How am I to find peace after taking your life?
Oh yeah, by the way, you never guess
Yeah.
how this game actually ends.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Just stops.
Tyris is basically reflecting how the Golden Axe fans feel after playing this game. I have lost everything. Yeah, very much Tyris. Oh, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
Tyris, because I refuse to acknowledge you as
Hold
Tyris.
on, James.
You're not Tyris.
You'll see for yourself in a second.
At an end.
So, what's gonna happen?
Nothing?
Oh, great, immersion breaking because of the challenge complete screen.
I was actually tempted to try to cut away this or put it at the end, but no, why not? And there you go, there's the classic outfit, which doesn't really work for this reboot. It
No.
really classic arcade lines for Jesus Christ.
Congrats! Now she has the outfit that she has supposed to
In
have.
fact,
Hold on, wait for it.
You've done it, girl.
And there you go, she actually wears it for the end.
You have no idea.
Where have you two been?
Slaying
But hold
the
on,
adder has
Axe
ended
Battler
nothing.
being the emo that easy bears of
Now
bad
the
news.
souls of the Titans he held in sway have been loosed,
Oh?
and Yuria may face a far
Dark
more
gold?
deadly enemy.
The
I
Titans
think he's
are
about
dead.
to mention it,
I
yes.
saw their bones bleaching in the sun.
Since when does a lord of the frozen north seek aid from the likes of us?
Truth be told, dwarf, I would sooner die a beggar.
Get it? They don't like
I'll
each
mention,
other
hold on,
at
I'll mention
first.
later, don't worry. Give me a second.
The beast beneath the mountain has awakened. The boar lives, Gideon.
Bloody shit.
And that's how it ends, with Vito saying, bullshit!
Brilliant
Wow.
job, guys. Brilliant.
So
Yeah,
goddamn.
But yeah, guess what, Pedro? We were teasing for a
And
sequel.
it just stops.
Not just that, we were teasing for a sequel with the characters being forming a team that hated each other. Isn't that
off, Gabe.
compelling?
Java, what was that you were saying before again?
Oh, trust me, Pedro. DMC is still worse with how it treats its characters, but this is bad
I guess
too.
it was just a
This is no slouch,
blessing.
though.
Huh?
Holy crap, that ending is atrocious.
Alright, there's no post-credit scene, so here we go. Final thoughts. So Pedro, please sort of the more
I was
insulted.
gonna-
Go on.
well, I was gonna say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
It's,
Since we're making comparisons, I think the different outfits, I think older outfits you can pick for Dante to wear in DMC fit more there than the classic outfits fit here.
Special edition only, but the original ones were not really that great.
Pretty much, yeah.
Isn't the special edition you get them all in there, don't?
Yes,
What
but
about
just
the
for the
special
special edition.
edition?
For the original one, they purposely did not wanted to have them for, making their point proven.
Guessing
Whatever.
maybe Tabby did direct the special edition.
oh, God. This fucking piece of crap. So not only okay, like I said, Tyris doesn't look like Tyris. Gilius, for the most part, is fine. I don't mind this new design for him. It's fine. I can still recognize him as Gilius. Axe, I guess he could be worse, but I'm still not a fan of this new design.
But turning also into an emo, like seriously,
Yeah.
the guy just
Hey.
spews death and doom everywhere.
To be fair, Axe never had a character in the original game, so technically
They
there's
killed
no
killed his brother or something. No, it was Gideon.
Yeah,
They
that-
killed his brother.
The motivation in the original game was that Axe Battler killed his mother. Sorry, for Gillis, if it was for Gillis, it was his brother.
Okay.
And like I said, to be fair, Axe never had a personality in the game in the original series. Therefore, technically, there is no personality that you need to remain consistent to. Technically, so you can technically make up a new one for him. But of all the ones you had to go with, you went with this one. Seriously? Why not just take a page from Conan the Barbarian? I mean, I don't know how. I haven't read the Conan book, so maybe.
Me
Conan,
neither.
Maybe
No,
Conan
but
is-
I can tell you, despite the tragedy that happens around him, Conan is still a complex character. He's not a whiny emo like X is in this game.
Why not
And he's,
just
oh
turn him
no,
into an awesome-
I don't need the help of others. I hate you.
Why not just turn him into an awesome badass character? That would be
Oh,
the
well-
best
And
way to
you
go about it
and you
for us.
waste Troy
Hey
Baker for him.
guys, how much you want to bet he was gonna be awesome in the footage that got lost?
Well, Jova, the world is not made of what ifs and buts.
Well, that's just the
So-
thing. I'm willing to bet good money that he was probably going to be awesome in a lot of that lost footage, because there was a lot, and I do mean a lot of lost footage. As for me, I can't really judge his character that much because he was barely in the game, so...
Yeah. And
Can we
yeah,
even
that
call that
atrocious. That adder, that's not that adder. Like, what? And they have that adder turn into a fucking lizard for whatever the hell reason.
It was still a snake. He just had 4 arms.
It was apparently a reference to the fact that he was originally going to be a piece of snakes, as Tio mentioned.
Again, the original arcade edition shows that he's just a pile of snakes.
He is, but okay, I get that, but I don't know. I still don't really like that idea of turning him into. Hell, even before he turns into a snake, he still doesn't look like that bad.
Yeah,
anyway.
that I agree with. I think the blow would have been softened if at least his first look was, more reminiscent of his classic look. That wouldn't have been too hard to replicate, I think.
No, it's not. And like Theo said, this atrocious insult of an ending. Never got. There you go, everybody. Those 3 heroes you grew up with, now they're finally together, except they all hate each other. Isn't this what you've always wanted from a reboot of Golden Axe?
It's literally the
Fuck
kind of
off,
game that
game.
is relying on there being a sequel so that it can finally clear stuff up. Fat chance of that happening.
Here's an idea. Why not have this game be the game where they all meet at the beginning and then they have to learn to get along to defeat that fatter? Wouldn't that be a much better idea?
Honestly,
Just saying.
how much you want to bet that a better ending was also in the lost footage? You're like, again, who knows? Maybe this wasn't even supposed to be the ending. It doesn't even feel like it was meant to be the ending with how goddamn abrupt it is.
Again, there's only so many excuses you can throw with what ifs and buts. But
There is an actual source of potentially the trouble of the cycle, but I want to save it after the actual final plots because it's actually a long one and Grease might have to go.
Okay.
Go on.
Anyway, yeah, the gameplay is boring as shit because it looks like it really gets boring and repetitive really fast. The novelty doesn't seem to reel off really fast. The graphics look ugly. The music is generic beyond belief. Like it's such a really. It looks like the worst kind of bad game. The boring as fuck kind of bad game. Like it's not even like a game like a game like Sonic 06 at the very least is fascinating. This just looks boring as shit to play.
Yeah.
Like this is, oh my god, this is so terrible. And again, as a Golden Axe game, it barely meets the mark. Barely. Like, seriously, Gillies is the only one of the 3 characters that somehow, at the very least, manages to get out of here relatively not destroyed. And even then, that ending, bloody shit. Like, seriously, the cutscene doesn't even end. The game literally cuts to credits mid-cutscene. Was this game directed by the guy who directed the final episode of The Sopranos? Like,
Oh my.
it's oh my god, this game looks so bad, and I'm glad that I never actually got around to playing it because it looks like a fucking short to play. I'm done.
Lips.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even really comment on the end because there wasn't much of an ending to comment on.
I'm still wondering if that even really was the end, and it wasn't just a random cutscene disguised to look like the end.
I won't be surprised.
Also, by the way, the music loops constantly. Go on, Lips.
Because they lose stuff. But then again, I guess that explains explain some of Sega's ports. But yeah, moving on. The gameplay, it looks like any old typical hack and slash, not even really a fun, because in many other hack and slashes, even released around this time, there was enough variety in the May Cry. You had the swords, you had the guns, different various sorts of combos you could do with said swords and guns. Here it's just.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tio.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah, here it's just axe slashing. That's about it. I won't comment on the story because there is. And even if there is one, there's not enough there for me to comment. Graphically, for a game released in 2008, it looks fine-ish. What's Unleashed looks better, but and music again.
I honestly don't even know who's the composer.
Apparently, this game had 3 composers, but I can't remember the name.
Keith RM and Michael Cohen and Christian Hedman. But I think we mentioned one of the previous parts, but gotta be honest, folks, I forgot about them.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But yeah, and yeah, honestly, yeah, this looks like a less fun. It's like a less fun DMC reboot that. Yeah, there's a kind of similarities. Reboots that, while maybe a few non-fans might have gotten into, like me, but DMC at least haven't played this game. Fans of the series, as Pedro can attest to, weren't so keen on this one and the different directions it took. But at least DMC has better, more fun gameplay. And a soundtrack that, even though I personally like, at least sticks out more generic orchestra music.
Generic versus terrible. That is an interesting decision.
Yeah, again, DMC's more gameplay. So yeah, that's Golden Axe, Beast Rider. You don't even really do that much in the way of Beast Riding either.
Actually, you do with the concept of the game.
You do.
Is it fun?
Compared to the normal combat, yes, I would like to say, but it's a strict comparison.
I mean, like, at least it gets half the title stuff decent.
Yeah, I will say this: at least the title is not false advertising. There's that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like if you had a game called Gun Sword with no guns. But yeah, that's Golden Axe Beast Rider. It's one of those in one ear and out the other games, and that most people will probably forget, considering how not well this game sold. From what I understand, it seems as though that actually kind of applies here.
Mm-hmm.
Java.
Oh boy, what a reboot this game is. Now, while DMC 5 did happen in spite of DMC being terrible, this was sadly bad enough to actually kill off the series. So, yeah, DMC technically wins in that regard. That said, I will still hold that this is a less insulting reboot story-wise and pretty much concept-wise and pretty much anything but the gameplay compared to DMC. So, as for this game, it is... well, it's bad, but it's one of the worst kinds of bad. It's the kind of bad game where I can see the good game buried in underneath the mountain of crap, but Hell's 4 is made with good intentions, so I can't exactly give this game a good rating for good intentions now, can I? The music...
Java, wouldn't it be so awesome if we've got a Knights free, where Knights and Owl are constantly whining and bickering at each other? Wouldn't that be so awesome?
But, Pedro, they kind of already do that in Journey of Dreams.
Well, hold on. Well, I mean Knights and Owl.
They
ever argue?
They argue a lot. Like, Owl is practically... Yeah,
Okay, fine. Let me.
if it's the typical youngster and old person bickering with one another, like Owl trying to lecture Knights, Knights going, "Oh, silly
Okay,
old
fine.
man."
I have another
like
one.
that.
I have another one. How about an Ace Attorney reboot where Phoenix and Maya are constantly whining and bickering and arguing against each other and hating
Live
each
action
other?
movie.
No,
I wouldn't go that
Tio,
far.
no,
I don't
no,
like
no,
that
no,
movie, but I
no.
wouldn't go that
Tio,
far.
Tio.
I
They
was
were
mostly shamelessly trolling. Please
Yeah,
keep
well-
going.
Besides, I mean, Maya didn't have much personality in that movie to bicker.
Go on,
Yeah.
Jova.
Go ahead, Jova, continue.
Look, all things considered, this game, it looks fine, but the glitches are up the wazoo in this game. Like, holy cow, this is one of the saddest stories ever. A developer tried to shoot for the stars, but flew too close to the sun, and they fell hard. Which is sad, because the game is good in, like, the starting point and the ending point. So, it's like a sandwich where you have two good loaves of bread, but everything squeezed in the middle of those loaves of bread is garbage. Enjoy your sandwich. Ugh, God. Good things. The Megabrax, best mount in the game. The Golden Axe, best weapon in the game. Both stuff you get at the end, but... yeah, it's stuff you get at the end. It's too little and far, far too late. I wouldn't mind Death Adder turning into a Snake Titan because I find it a neat enough reference, but come on, you could have made his first design look more like the actual classic Death Adder here and
The
there.
closest you get, if you have paid attention, is the chest area resemble the design of the helmet original game, but even that, it's like a minuscule bone to throw at the fans.
Hey, designers, that little pattern that you put on the chest, that goes on top, on the head.
This is not Ghost and Goblins. You don't have to have two faces.
Like, I will say this, I feel like the best boss fight may have been the Queen of the Dead, honestly.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. When it comes to Axe Battler and Gilius's designs, I actually don't mind them. I find them nice enough modern takes here and there. The problem is that we don't get to do much with the characters, so I can't really judge on their characters here and there. I mean, kudos to them trying to give more character to them, but it's so little I can't properly judge. And
It's
you got
mostly Tyris' design that I have a big issue with. She doesn't look in any way like Tyris does.
Yeah. Gilius and Axe Battler, I find them perfectly fine for what little we get out of them. Tyris, I actually don't mind her design here and there. I feel like it's a nice enough, interesting modern take on the character here and there. I also do like the various costumes here and there. The problem is that we don't get context as to, why she has them all of a sudden. Would not be surprised if I was in that lost footage here and there. As for her character, well, what character development she gets is nice and could possibly hint at how she becomes the Tyris we know and love. Problem is that by that point, the game is pretty much over. So, Tyris herself is fine as a character, but it's just everything surrounding her is crap. Utter crap. And, the mounts are fine, though it sucks that you can get knocked off them so easily. The AI is way dickish in this game. Unbelievably so. Overall, it's unfortunately a crap game. Like, there's good, but it's heavily outweighed by the bad. Okay, Tio. Go on.
First of all, the description, this is actually rich. Remember, this is for the beginning one, the one that I also show in the artwork. Classic arcade lines for action that is tasteful yet revealing. I'm pretty sure that if we show this to anyone on Twitter these days, this game will be buried on where it stands, just for that line alone. But also another thing, I will post a link in the description as well. Apparently one of the producers of the games in 2009, i.e. called Michael Bocceri, actually released an interview with Game Developer Magazine and discussed about the troubled project of the game. I'm not going to read everything. Honestly, I'm not going to read almost anything because it's a really long read and this video has already gone too far. It's mostly summed up on what also Madman Muscle says in his what happened episode, but there is a couple of new stuff. And guess what? One thing that I noticed is the fact that Mr. Michael here mentions in the what went right section, as he, look at the positives of what happened, the crunch time. Apparently he thought that, performing under pressure in the last 12 to 14 months of development was a good thing because we produce good results. I guess, yes, but at what cost?
Oh no.
That's the whole problem of crunch time. You literally strain yourself to death, almost. Like, seriously. If you tell me when you could produce good results only by this, with this kind of training from hell, maybe you should have revalued your scope of the game.
Definitely.
But whatever, at this point it was already too far. Already gone about development of the game. Anyways, for my final thoughts, this is just awful. I'll take even Golden Axe 3 over this every day. At least it has more soul. This one has an idea on what it wants to do. I like the aesthetics for the most part, even the redesigns. But aside from that matter, I have to agree that one just looks uninspired, to say the least. The gameplay is just putrid. The mounting is as a cool idea, but it's wasted because of how the gameplay is integrated. And the titular Golden Axe gets only the 4 for the last 10th of the game, and it's just there for minimal eye candy in the boss fight against Death Adder. That's it. Aside from that, it just doesn't work. I really can't fathom people actually spending $60 for this when it came out. Poor souls. And it was teasing for a sequel, of all things. They were that desperate when they thought, come on guys, if we just have this minor stand-up at the very end, people will be more actually tempted and will actually give us money for it. God damn it. Sure, there is the thing that the fact that they actually lost the footage, so there was actual complications, but I don't know. I do believe there should have been another solution rather than keep going with the game as it was. Like, there are some games who actually get their development stopped, you think they're cancelled, and only they resurface like 5 or 6 years later in a much more polished state, Something like that could have worked, but I don't know. Honestly, judging by the game as it is, for the end result, it's just not good. Really the worst of the series, and the franchise killer that it was. I still want to hope that we're gonna get a new title in some way or capacity. I know that the ideal answer will ask, the same people who did Streets of Rage 4 to do a mythical Golden Axe 4 in the same vein, but I honestly also am open to potentially something different, something similar to this formula, just in a more competent way with a gameplay that is more fun yet still faithful to the franchise. I'm confident that it can be done in some kind of way.
Just license it out like they've done.
Well, that too, but again, also the idea outcome would be really like what the developer Streets of Rage 4 did. So I'm fine either. I'm honestly fine either way, as long as the next game can manage to be good, So stay tuned for the future. I really don't see the point for us to see Golden Axe, the duel. Like we mentioned, it's just a simple fighting game with not real story going on.
I'm guessing you probably would get better entertainment out of a Soul Calibur game.
There's no side materials as far as I know, no comics, no mangas, and no animated stuff. So I'm sorry. So for now, this is really a very depressing note to end on, I'm afraid. But that's it for Golden Axe. So hopefully a revival in the future. We'll see.
Like I said, the best scenario for me would be a Golden Axe 4 by .mu.
We'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.